call. So I would request that when it comes to you setting, wanting to know where you are, if you feel it is not everyone, but there are those who feel they are not very comfortable with their research, just reach out, send me a message. I will share it with Simon Gatia also, so that we see where we are and how we will be able to move on. So in short, I was saying today will be our last lesson in this module. And from there, we will take a short break as we now bring in our next module. Remember what I shared. By August next year, we are graduating. We will have finished. And I'll see how well we can move such that our graduation coincides with the graduation of Diploma in Education, Leadership, and Management. And we'll be telling ourselves, have we gained in those 2 years? Have we gained in that learning period? Remember, we said we started in August. We are telling ourselves we are finishing next year in the month of August. I don't want to rush you, but I would want us to work and finish. Sababu chochote kile kilicho na mwanzo lazima kiwe na mwisho. We cannot continue moving on. Eventually, we find the diploma loses. Inapoteza ladha tukikaa sana tukifanya tu kazi moja tunazungukana. We want to see this work now. Going to school. We want it happening on the ground. We want people to be working with the little we will have got. Remember what I shared from the beginning. It is not about the learning and all the modules we've covered. It's about the growth that has happened to you as a person. It's about how you can move one person an inch from where they are. It's not about you and I solving people issues. It's about you and I being able to listen to people, showing them their ability to move on and helping them move with the solutions they have crafted in their mind. Just make them concrete. Listening to them, making them concrete, confronting, questioning. Eventually, we will see where we are moving to. Remember, again, it's a journey. We said we are all in the process of being. So none of us has arrived. We are still moving on. And as we move on, let's keep on lifting each other up. Let's keep on working with the other members of the staff in our schools. Let us see what is it that we can do with each other. So I want to share my screen. I've said I'll start with just a recap kidogo sana of what we did in the process. Just something small, then what the expectation is or how we want it to look like. When we see how it is supposed to look like, we will now start and see, does it look like we said it should look like? And we wanted to take more of reflection and more of academics. We don't want it to just look like, we've got to bring in academics in. We've been learning. And so it will be more of an academic work at the same time speaking to what is happening in our institutions. And let me share the slides so that we're able to start. I hope it's visible in onekana. Let me see. Sorry, kidogo. Yes, it is inaonekana. So what are we talking about today? We are looking at inquiry-based action research process, and this is just a comprehensive guide into structuring and conducting your research. As Gatia talked to us last time when we welcomed him to our class, he told us it is cyclic. And even when it is cyclic, we want to see what do we need to remember so that when you're crafting the title, what is it speaking about? What is it that you want to be looking at? And so we said that this is a systematic approach, and it is investigative, it is a reflection, and it is an action. So when we say it is investigative, that's where we are saying, when it does a lot of emphasis on investigation, we are talking about it as something you go out there to find out, what is it that I want? You reflect. After I look at it, I'm asking myself, what does it mean to me as a practitioner? What action do I need to take? And you say that it involves several key components, and the first one is reconnaissance. Then we formulate research objectives, data collection, analysis, and how does it contribute to the world of studies? What does it say? And in this area, we'll be looking at those key components that I've talked about, and you'll be seeing each component and what it means. Because if we are to start with the reconnaissance phase, this is what we're saying, it's the one that sets the stage for the work you want to do. It's like going out there to observe, going out there to check what is happening, going out there in your school, looking at the issues around there, what the learners are going through, and you asking yourself, what do I want to see? What is this that I'm seeing in my environment? And then, if I'm going to do a research, what is the change that I want to come in? So we always start with reconnaissance. We go out there. Already where you are as a teacher, you're already doing your reconnaissance. And I remember we were sharing together here and we were asking ourselves, what is the area you want to study? And remember, very many people had very many issues because it is about your environment. You're out there, you're doing the reconnaissance. You're working in your field, you're seeing what is happening in your school or wherever you're taking your research. I would recommend we do more in school. I would recommend, a minute, please. It is more about you checking your area and seeing where you can work. And after you do the reconnaissance, it helps you refine the research focus. It helps you. What area are you looking at? So it helps you focus and narrow down to the issues you're thinking about. And then from the issues you're thinking about, it helps you now come down to something you can touch, something you can work with, something that is relevant to you, can give you clear objectives and outcomes. So it is about you refining your research. That question, what is this focus you have? What are you focusing on? And I remember when we were sharing this, there are some of us who said that they're looking at the use of drugs with the learners. That is a wide area. That is where your focus is. I know when you're doing your reconnaissance, and this is the area you want to focus on, you got to check. Is it about the effects of drugs in the school and how it affects the administration of the school? Is it about drugs use and the learners and their performance? Is it about drugs and the learners and where they're coming from? So when you're doing the reconnaissance, when you're doing that observation, you now start checking, how do I narrow this to objectives that are clear, to a question that is manageable? Because many a times you might just have you might have an area and it is so wide. Like, so for example, I say I want to look at the use of youth and drugs in Kenya. That is so wide because Kenya is a country. So from Kenya, I can narrow it down to a county. From a county, I can narrow it down to a sub-county. From a sub-county, I can narrow it down to a school, to a zone. From a zone, it can come to a school. So it is you now to see, how do you narrow it down so that it speaks of what you're looking forward to, to see whether is it speaking about what I want. If it is about the learners, if it's about the school, is it speaking about what I want to see? Is it speaking about what I want to check? And so just as Gatia told us, from there, After the reconnaissance, after we've narrowed down the question to what we want to, we now identify the problems and the opportunities. That is, what are the gaps there? Even if I'm looking at drugs or drug use or drug abuse, what is the gap? People have always looked at drugs, so am I able to recognize a gap that is there in an area that needs improvement? The moment you realize a certain area needs improvement, it means you've already realized the gap. And so when you're looking at this, when we have seen the problem, we are able to craft our research questions. And our research questions should address real world issues. So you must recognize the gap that you're seeing in your area. And many times, you're even asking yourself, have I gathered this from a research that was done by someone? That I looked at a research and now I'm feeling I can make it better? Did I look at somebody's research and they had recommendations for further study, for further reading? And the recommendation for further reading, I realized that I could have done this. I could have checked this. It's you now to see the gap that you've seen and explain where this gap is coming from, or what this gap means for you, or what it means for the work you're going to do. So after you get this, we identify the gap. After we realize what you're looking for, we still use that research when you're doing it. We are still doing that reconnaissance. The reconnaissance will also help us in getting a research design. Now that I have realized this is what I want to research. I'm still in the first stage, reconnaissance. And when I'm doing this reconnaissance, these are the things that I'm supposed to be doing. As I am still checking, sijaanza kazi, I now understand the methodology that I'm going to use. What is it that I'm going to do? What are the methods I'm going to choose? Are they aligning with my objectives? Whatever design I choose to use, is it aligning with my objectives? And what was my objective? You see, it is just as we call it cyclic, it means we are dealing with the same thing. We are asking ourselves about the same thing. We are moving with the same idea. You're still observing, even now when wherever you are, where you are, even in your school now, you're already doing the reconnaissance. You're already seeing, this is what I would want to study. This would be my main objective. These would be my specific objectives. And from these specific objectives, these are the questions I want answered. And why? Because I've already noted there is an issue. And so when I've noted this issue is there, I bring in the statement of the problem. What is this problem that I'm talking about? And remember we've said, have you identified a gap? So if I've identified a gap, it means by using this gap that I want to check and see how I can inform it, then I'm already thinking about what kind of design do I want? And for us, we are going to do a primary research. We are not going to do a desktop research. Why am I saying we are going to do a primary research? Because we wanted to inform what is happening in our schools, not what has been done by other people, and now we are analyzing that. No, we want us to have a problem that's happening right now in our area, in our schools, because the main reason is we want to improve. We want to improve our practice. We want to improve the lives of the learners. It is. And again, as you're doing all this, as we're doing this research, you've got to remember, we got to remember that we need to build a relationship with all the people we are working with. Because you're not going to collect data if you have not built a relationship with the people you're working with. And it is a relationship of trust. If you're going to collect your data with the learners, just know it is a relationship of trust with your learners. If it is about the parents, it's that relationship. If it is about the teachers, it's that relationship. It all depends on where you are. Build a relationship and trust. And this one will ensure that the research you're working on will be quality research, and the process will also be of quality. Because we want something that will inform you and stakeholders. We don't want to complete this for the sake of a certificate. We want to, as practitioners, we want to speak to what is on the ground for us. And so after that introduction of what you're going to do, we are now going to identify the title. And there are many ways of you identifying the title. And I know already you are identifying your titles in your different ways. And the title must speak to what you want to look at, must speak to the gap that you have seen, must speak to that statement of the problem. Because this title has to work with the problem that you have identified in your school. So when you're doing this, when you're doing the reconnaissance and you're observing, you're walking around, you're walking in your mind and you're checking what is there, already you're telling yourself, what is it that I am seeing? What change would I want for my community? What gap do I want to fill? What solution do I feel I need to bring to my school, to my learners, etc. And when you're doing all this, there are various ways you're going to use in working with this. Sorry, it's not very clear. It's not becoming very, I'm trying to make it, to zoom it. As we identifying this title, let's see how much we can identify. No, okay, this is the title. We said we're identifying a broad area of interest. That is where we begin. A broad area of interest. And a wide area of interest. That is where we are. And once we identify this broad area, we now got to narrow it down. A broad area is anything happening. Learners coming to school late. That's a broad area. Learners always making noise. Learners not performing as expected. Teachers coming late to school, especially when they are on duty. Parents not taking the academic clinics serious. Parents not getting involved in the learners' extended activities that they go to during their time. Parents not even appearing in school the moment they are required. That's a very broad area. You have already observed that. Now, after you have observed this, you now go to narrow it down. Now we are narrowing it down to a specific topic. And now a wide area, now narrow it down. And when you're narrowing it down, you want now to focus on a specific area of interest. Because learners coming late is something very wide. But now, when you want to narrow this down, you want to go deep and find out, why are learners always late on a Wednesday morning or a Friday morning, etc. You see, now you're narrowing it down. Or what is the role of the parents in the learners, coming to school late? From a wider perspective, you're now narrowing it down to this. You might also, depending on where you're coming from, you might find that that area of yours that you wanted to work on has very many other small areas that are making it not work for the learners. And with that, after you narrow down now, you are able to formulate a research question. You're able to formulate a research question. And if you remember, some of us, I think Kelvin shared with us last week. I hope I'm not mixing my two classes, the certificate and the diploma. Or Kelvin is in the diploma. Yeah. If you remember, he was talking about the dependent variable and the independent variables. And he also talked about the extraneous variables, the compounding variables, all that. But for us, I don't want to make it so wide. All what I want us is now to think about the independent variables and the dependent variable. From there, after we have narrowed down to that, now we can start checking what other variable can change the relationship between the independent and the dependent variable. And we will, as we are crafting this, we will say what are some of the areas that we need to be talking about. And that is what I've talked about, identifying the key variables or concepts. What is it that you want to be discussing? What do you want to talk about? What is it that you want to talk about? Then you define your scope, etc., etc. And from here, I take a short break and I hear from some of you so that we see, can we help each other craft our questions? ICT, you'll allow us to unmute. Mtu akiinua mkono, aruhusiwe ku-unmute. Give us a broad area. Any one of us, give us a broad area. Anyone, just give us, yeah, Bimwendia. Bimwendia.
No.
Yes.
No,
Oh, hausikiki vizuri, my friend. Hausikiki vizuri.
There's a problem with the newly employed.
Newly employed teachers,
Yes, we don't want to. They are trying to say that they can teach the young ones, the grade 4, the grade 6. Just want to stick with grade 9. I don't know how we can formulate that because I've noted it's not only in our school, several schools.
Let's see what we can do. Mumesikia Bimwendia. I know hasikiki vizuri, but she's talking about how what she has seen in her school is an issue with the newly employed teachers in JS. Not interested in what the learners, you have an idea of what she's talking about. And she's wondering, how do we formulate this question? Any one of us formulate this for her? Anyone? Inua mkono to just try. Ni kujaribu tunajaribu. Someone, inua mkono tukuone na tukusikie. Anyone? Someone to assist Bimwendia in formulating her question.
Okay, Daktari.
Yes.
Probably we could think of factors that influence the motivation of newly employed JS teachers.
Factors influencing the motivation of JS teachers.
Yes, newly employed JS teachers.
Thank you, Edna. But before you go, Edna, give me the dependent variable. We start with the dependent one.
The dependent would be the motivation. Then now maybe we can look at various factors. I don't know. Those factors would be the independent.
Why are you laughing?
I'm
Edna,
not sure.
You're not sure.
I'm not very sure.
You are okay. The dependent variables be the factors. Those would be the factors influencing the motivation. also influencing the motivation of the JS teachers. You can craft it better. I'm giving you time to craft it better. Somebody else?
Okay,
Thank you, Edna. Somebody else? Saidia Bimwendia. Yeah, Josiah Chule. Josiah. Josiah, unmute. Yes, Josiah.
Good evening.
Yes. Good evening.
Good
I
evening.
can hear you. Good evening.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the factors that lead to rebellion of JSS teachers in primary schools.
That is the Chule. Factors leading to rebellion of JS teachers
in primary schools.
In primary schools,
Yeah.
But they are not in primary schools. JS teachers are not in primary schools.
Yeah, in JSS.
It is not
The
JSS. Josiah, it is not JSS.
Yeah.
It is JS.
Yeah.
Unajua ukiongeza hiyo sijine umeleta secondary.
Okay.
Yes.
Factors that lead to rebellion of JS teachers.
Okay, factors leading to rebellion of JS teachers in school. Sawa. And I know you have already told me, and vile tu hujaongea dependent variable ni dependent. Dependent.
Why do we have a rebellion of JS teachers?
So the dependent variable is rebellion.
Yeah.
And the dependent variables will be the factors again.
Yeah, the factors that the causes that lead to rebellion.
Thank you, Chule. Another person? One more. I am not leaving it out. One more. Faith Maina. Faith.
Yeah. I would phrase it like this. Factors leading to a havoc in the relationship between the JS teachers and the primary school teachers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Edelea na kunipa dependent and independent.
So the dependents what would be the factors?
That is independent or dependent. What depends on who? Who depends on who?
Nimepotea vile nilikuwa nimepanga.
Itarudi. Sawa, thank you. Itarudi tu. Hujapoteza Maina. It is okay, itarudi. Kelvin nawe.
Okay, mine is about just the same as the first presenter. Factors affecting JS teachers' motivation, or even factors lowering JS teachers' motivation.
Okay.
The motivation fact is now the dependent variable. While the independent variable, what causes the lowering or what is interfering with this motivation? It can be the administration. It can be lack of equipment, the salary. Most of them start as interns. Those are now the independent variable. What the motivation itself is the dependent variable.
Yeah. Thank you, Kelvin, and thank you all of you. Bimwendia, unaona vile swali yako ni rahisi. Now you can start working on it. And everyone has given you something. Factors influencing motivation of JS teachers. There's factors leading to rebellion from JS teachers. Factors leading to havoc in the relationship between JS teachers. Just remember, what you want at the end of the day is to see the motivation of the JS teachers. That's what you're looking for, isn't it? So the factors now are the independent variables, and there could be many. As Kelvin has said, inaweza kuwa ya kwanza ni mshahara. Wamekuja as intern teachers, so tunaanza na mshahara. And as intern teachers, you know their salary ni pesa gapi. It is no common knowledge in the whole of Kenya. Interns are paid 25,000. Alafu unatolewa hizo vitu vingine, wanaanza na SHA, affordable housing, NSSF, endelea. And now you can see what remains. What is the take home? So it could be etc, etc. Thank you. Shadrach, sita kukatiza. Shadrach, sema kitu before I move on.
Yes, am I audible?
Very.
Yeah, mine, let's say I picked a topic on parents' laxity on their children educational affairs in school.
Parents' laxity?
On their children educational affairs in schools. And because most nowadays parents, let's say, like for my own school, they are not interested in their children welfare so long as they are just finishing grade 9. So yeah, bora amalize. So mine, the topic will be the influence of parents' involvement on learners' academic performance in school.
Wow.
And my research question should be is how does parental laxity affect the academic progress and school participation of learners?
You're good. The question is good. It's very clear. The independent variables, the independent variables and the dependent variable is very clear.
So the dependent one, the dependent variable is learners' academic performance and school participation.
Yes.
And the independent one, it is parent involvement in school-related activity.
And then you can put quite a number. And you can put a number of them, isn't it? The reasons as to why the parents are etc, etc. Only narrow the question to one area. If it is about the learner's academic performance, it remains academic performance. Wachana na participation. Sawa. Shadrach, hivyo. Just use one. For dependent variable, let's work with one. Because we might find that it might be academic performance and participation might end up being two things. Then you find that our variables zina kinzana. Edna Maloba, the last one. Thank you, Shadrach. Edna?
No, I wanted to give a suggestion.
Yes.
To Shadrach.
Oh, okay.
Especially with CBE.
Yes.
What if we maybe use the terminologies like parental engagement, the effect probably of parental engagement on learners, or maybe you can narrow down to grade 9 learners or a specific group. Now focusing now on CBE because he has mentioned grade 9, meaning he's in JS.
Yeah, he is in JS, yes.
Yes, so just thinking of now using now the terms parental engagement and its effects on learners' performance, or rather grade 9 or something like that.
Yeah, grade 9 learners' performance or grade 9 learners' participation in activities, etc, etc. Thank you.
Yes.
Something. Yeah. Thank you, Edna. Shadrach, you want to add something?
Yeah, I think I've gotten a proper question, a broad area that I should be able to write it as parental engagement on learners' education. Yeah.
Sawa. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Edna and Shadrach for that, and for Bimwedia and your question. Maina, Chule, and also who is this other one? Kelvin, Adenna Maloba. Thank you so much for that. For that, it was an eye opener. It was just a beginning, and it is good for us to see what it is. After checking all this, checking your area, where you want your research to be, you've looked at the scope. What are how many learners do you want to interview? Learners? Do you want to interview the teachers? Do you want to interview the parents? Who is it that you want to interview? Define the scope or the context. That is set clear boundaries. This is exactly what I want. If it is the JS teachers, it is the JS teachers. If it is about the learners, set those boundaries. If it's about the parents, so that you know the scope of the people you want to help you in the research. After that, draft a comprehensive title. Just as those titles we have drafted. Those are three that we have listened to. Just draft your title that brings out your research, that brings out what you wanted. Don't let it lose where you wanted to go. Craft it in such a way it captures what you have seen and what you want to be working with. After we get our title, we now go to the objective. Why? I want to understand the motivation of teachers in JS. That's what I want. So what are my objectives? So from here, you formulate your research objectives. Your research objectives. Now formulate them from your question. I go back. Shadrach, are you there? I'm still moving with your question.
Yes, I'm there.
Sawa, give me your objectives. You have already crafted the title, isn't it?
Yes.
And now you want to see why parents are not so much involved, their contribution, isn't it?
Yes.
Then give me, what are these courses we are looking at? What are these courses you're talking about?
So
what are the areas?
Let's say my objective
will
be to assess the current level of parental involvement. Let's say, yeah.
Current level?
The current level of parental involvement. How are they really involving themselves? To what capacity?
Tell me, how do we measure this? How will we measure the levels? We want our objectives must be smart. And I've only gone to one area of the smartness. Are they measurable? Is the level measurable?
That one, I think that one is general.
No. Shadrach, it can be measurable. With what you have in your school, is there somewhere you rate the attendance of parents? If there's somewhere you rate, now you have the levels.
It could be measurable if you call for parents meeting. There is a sign-in register. You can check on that.
Yes.
If you have homework extended activities that you're issuing,
yes,
you could look at, do they sign the diaries, for example? Feedback on the performance of the learners.
Yes.
Something like that.
Thank you, Edna.
Something.
Yes, Kelvin. Yes, Kelvin.
Yes. So I just had to add what my colleague just said. So it is measurable.
Yes.
For example, you can, during meetings, we usually have a register that they do write on. And also, we can also look at maybe in terms of fee payment. We have parents who you have to force them before they are able to pay the fee. So kind of, they have neglected kind of their duty.
Yes.
We can also look at the student discipline. Most of these issues, student discipline, some of them emanate from home. How involved the parent is. When you call them, you have a discipline issue. Are they so prompt in coming, or do you have to really force them? Look at the homework that they do. Like if it's a lower primary, they'll do some homework, and then the teacher will be able to know whether the parent was involved or not. So
Kelvin, we stopped giving homework.
Oh, it's called what? Assignment or extended activity? Extended activity.
Yes, in CB we give extended learning activities. We don't give homework.
Yeah, so for me, we usually have the main objective and the specific objective. So for my colleague here, the main objective will be, my main objective is to determine or to find out how parental engagement affects the student performance. Then my specific objectives will be to look at the frequency of the attendance of the parents, the frequency of the payment of their fees, look at the parental involvement in discipline parental involvement in helping the student in carrying out their extended activities if it's a day school and so on.
Thank you, Kelvin. Thank you so much. I had seen Kabugi. Kabugi, ulikuwa na mkono juu, na I'm not leaving huo mkono.
Okay, I think also they can also be checking on if the parent is asked to come to school. Some refuse actually to come, so that can also be a way of rating.
Sawa. Yeah. Thank you, Kabugi, and thank you all of us. We are seeing where we are now. As we have been told, you have formulated that title. The title gives you the general objective. After that, the general objective is the one that gives you the specific objectives. How do you get your specific objectives? They come from the main topic that is wide. If you're talking about courses, how many are these courses you're talking about? If you want to talk about 4 courses, those 4 courses, you can use them to formulate your specific objectives, but they must be smart. And the first thing that you check for them to be smart, are they measurable? What verb are you using? Or the action verb that you've put there, how is it? Is it able to show something that is measurable, that we can measure and we give results? Because by the end of the day, we'll give results. Then after that, we formulate our hypothesis. This one, I'll leave it open. We don't have to formulate hypotheses. You can have research questions. It doesn't have to be a hypothesis. We know hypothesis is an educated guess. And if you go to the level of hypothesis, you remember we have to either reject it or accept it. So I don't want us to go to that direction. For this one, I am specific. I want research questions. And colleagues, how do we get the research questions? Tell us how we are going to get these research questions. Already kuna wale wameanza kuandika pale wameketi. They're already writing. Kabugi.
Okay, I think it can be, like in this case, can be how can we improve the parents' participation in the students' affairs?
Okay, thank you, Kabugi. Another person who have another idea of how you'll formulate the research questions? How do we formulate research questions? And we have already ruled that in our research, we are not going to have a hypothesis, we are going to have research questions. Another person, how do we get the research questions? Guys, I'm not continuing. I have to be told how I'm going to formulate a research question, the research questions.
Hello, Dr.
Yes, hello.
We get the questions from the given objectives, the research objective.
That's all what I was looking for. Thank you so much. It is just about your research objectives, your specific objectives. Just turn them into questions. As simple as that. Someone may tell me that this is not very academic the way I'm putting it, but I don't see why I should complicate it. You have your specific objectives. Just turn those specific objectives into questions, and you have your research questions. So that one we do not have much discussion. That is how it will be. That is how you're going to write it. And as we move on, we have to articulate. Always remember, articulate the core issue. Articulate the core issues. That is this is a well-defined problem statement. We need that problem statement that shows the gap. After we have formulated the research objectives, we have formulated the research questions. Now we go to start thinking from all these things that I'm doing. What is the problem that I was looking at? So that your objectives speak to the gap. They speak to the problem statement. And let the problem statement be very captivating and let the gap be clear. Because from here, when you look at the problem, even before we go further, someone can be telling themselves in their minds, this is what this person needs. this is the research design this person is going to use for it to serve, for them to get what they want. It will come from the core issue. What is it that you are looking at? What is it that you want? What is it that you want to look at? And the times you find the study has limitations, and the limitations can be many as the research allows. And for us, we will not delve deeper into that, because some of the limitations we might encounter in our work, one of them is methodological constraints. That is when you choose a design or a data collection methods and analysis, that might limit your findings. Many times they limit your findings if your results cannot be generalized. If I am doing this in my school, where I'm checking the relationship between the teachers in primary school and the teachers in JES, if those results cannot be generalized about other JES teachers, it might mean that I am limited in the methodology I was using for my research. Can my results be replicated? Can another person do that similar research in the neighboring school and get results, not identical, but they speak the same? There can also be scope limitations. That is the boundaries that, such as your sample, your location, etc. For us, mostly, and this is what I say from the beginning, our scope is in our schools. I am not ruling out that it must be in school. Remember, I said that it can even be in your church. But your limitation, your scope is what will offer you credible results. So check your sample. Which is the sample you are working with? Is it a sample that the scope can also be elsewhere? Is it so narrow that it does not give us any answers? Is it so wide that we cannot even generalize what you are telling us? It is you to check the area. It can even just be one class that you're looking at, and it is okay. It can be your school at the neighbor school. It can be particularly JES, that is grade 7, 8, 9. It can be primary. It is you to know where is it that you want to carry out so that you check that. There can also be theoretical limitations. What is the theory that is guiding your research? What is the theory? Does that theory encompass what you're looking for? Because there must be a theoretical framework. Remember, we said even in our work as counselors, we go to base it on a theory. We got to be grounded on a theory as counselors. And so even your research got to be grounded on a theory, depending on what area are you talking about. So does that theory you're talking about encompass what you're looking at? And you look at the different theories, and even AI will help you get the theories. It's about you and what you want to do. There are also external factors that can bring in limitations. That is mostly, it's about the mediating variables, extraneous variables, the variable you are not going to study that can influence the relationship between your independent and dependent variable. Look at them. Because if they're going to affect and affect it negatively, control them. You see, what is it that I'm going to do with them? So check the variables outside your control that might make you not manage to do what you're doing. For example, you want to study about the relationship between teachers of JES in your school, and it's a comparative study with another school. The other school is not under your jurisdiction. So you might find some external factors that will not allow you to get what you're looking for. And so you find in that school, you require a letter from the principal, you require another one from the dean, you require another one from, the protocol becomes too much, and you find that that one will be outside your control, and so you're not able to work work with it? The political climate. Are you studying something that will bring heat where we are? etc, etc. And as you're walking again, we are going to look at the theoretical framework, and this is just a repetition. What theory informs your work? Just get a theory that informs your work. Because when you get a good theory, it will provide a good foundation for your research. It will guide in your methodology, and also it will help you in your analysis. And when you're talking about a theory that where your work will be grounded, remember that theory must be applicable to the work that you're doing. Does that theory give you more insights into the area that you're working on? So choose your theory very well. If it is about the developmental milestones of learners, take a theory that talks very well about the milestones. A theory in education that talks about the milestones. If it's about learning styles, again, look at what Gardner says. Look at a theory that is able to connect your work, your research questions, it is able to connect your research questions, able to connect your title, able to connect your literature review with what you really want to get. So check on that and see what is it that you need to be looking at. All this we have looked at, we're not going to repeat about mapping the variables. And then we come to data collection. Data collection is that is what will inform where you are. What is the data that you need? If your research is quantitative, most of the data you're going to collect will be in a way it can be counted. Quantitative, you quantify. If your data is qualitative, and yet your research was, you wanted to use quantitative data, then you got to look at the aspects of the qualitative data that you have and give them a number that you quantify. So it is you to see what is the data that you require. And when you understand the data that you require, it helps you now craft the research instruments. You'll be able to see, if I am using a questionnaire, what is it that we'll want to get? What qualifies my questionnaires work? I know many of us will use questionnaires. Most of us use questionnaires. If it is about an interview guide, what questions will guide you to getting something quantitative because you want it, quantitative because you want it. If it is about interviews, face-to-face interviews, focus group discussions, what are the variables you'll be looking at? And what information do you want to get? And how do you ensure what is quality can also become quantitative? Can you assign it numbers for you to get the quantity that you wanted? So all that's about selecting the data type that you require or what you want in the data that you want. And it will help you in crafting your tools. It's you to know how do you want to craft your tools? What are the tools that you want to use? If it's a questionnaire, what do you want? What are the questions you're asking? And always remember, this one I always tell you, always remember, if it is a questionnaire, please test the tool. Do a pilot. If you're going to grade 8A or grade 9A, that is your respondents are coming from grade 9A, just go to grade 9B. Sample just a few, 10% of the population that you want to work with. That one informs you. When you go back and you're analyzing that data, it will inform you. Are my questions generating the information I wanted? Are the questions ambiguous? Have they been understood? etc, etc. Sample your population, see who knows what. Look at the read books on how to do your sampling. It is you who knows what you want to do. If it's a census, you want to do a census, a whole grade 9 class. and maybe the school has only one grade 9 class, etc. Check. What is the data that you want to collect? Organize your data. See who the organization that you need to organize, how you need to record the data that you have, because that is what will help you answer those. You remember those questions? That is what will help us answer those questions when we're doing the analysis. Clean the data, organize your data, clean it, glean it, check and see the characteristics that you're looking for. The variables have been taken care of, the insights that you needed, then interpret the information that you get. Interpret from that data. And when you're interpreting the data, I think I'm jumping the gun, but it's okay. When you're interpreting your data, it is you to check, is that data answering each and every variable that was in your specific objectives? In those specific objectives, what were the indicators you are looking for in each objective? So that when you're analyzing your data now, you group it into the areas, the objectives that you had, and the indicators you're looking at. That when you're analyzing that work, you're analyzing in mind knowing this is this objective, and it comes out clearly. After that, communicate your findings. Communicate. I remember we shared this and we said this work we are going, we said that this work we are going to publish it. Because tuna publish. So when you're communicating our findings, we enhance accessibility. That is, your findings become accessible. Check, are they accessible to people? Can they inform policy? Can they inform other people? Can they inform other communities of practice, etc., etc.? Again, it gives the other researchers a chance to look at your work, and it informs future work in the same area. And I would be very interested in seeing what is happening in our schools, and especially grade 9. People are really talking about grade 9. I'll be interested in looking at your research. I will want to see, can I learn something from you and I use it to inform my work or to do another research on my own? And any other educationist or any other practitioner can do that. Because by the end of the day, what your findings are, they should inform decision making in whichever area of education. Should inform decision making. That will make people better. And as we said, it is cyclic. You might find that your hypothesis has not worked, or your research questions have not worked, and you can still do another research in the same area. You can repeat, you can revise it again. Another person can pick your work, can revise your hypothesis or even your research questions and do it again. And so, with those very many words, what am I saying? This is where we are going to start. Topic of the study. This is the first step. The topic of the study specifies the subject area and guides the overall research direction. And it must be clear and focused. And it should be speaking about what you want. What is the first thing we do? You are the author. We will want the title. After the title, we will want your name. You are the one conducting the research. We will require your name to be put there immediately after you give the title. You come in as the author. Add your credentials. Add your TSA number, or whichever number you use. That is what we require, and it will be on our first page. Then we will require an abstract, and everyone knows what an abstract is. We know that it is just a summary of the key areas that are part of your research. and it is the thing that we write last. Should be between 150 and 250 words. We don't want a long thing. This one, tunapima maneno. 250 words. If some of you are like me, the way I talk is the way I write, so I can write stories on a book. So please just narrow down what will be in the abstract. It will entail the title, something about the title. You'll be giving a short story about the title. It will touch the research objectives. It will mention something small. It will mention the problem or the gap that you have identified. It will mention something small about literature review, kitu kidogo tu about the literature you are reviewing. It will talk about the methodology you're using. It will talk about the results that you found. It will also talk a bit about the conclusion that you have given. And that one will be in 250 words. Let's give a minimum of, if I call it minimum, where you know it is, you'll check what it is, and it makes, one can just read the abstract and get the gist of what you're writing. So that will be our abstract. Then we come to the background of the study. This is where you give us an idea of what you are writing about. What is it that you are writing about? What is it that you're writing about? What is the background of the study? And we'll want you to take a funnel style. We start from the global world. What are people talking about when it comes to parental engagement in learners' performance? Worldwide, what are they talking about? Give that big picture of what the world is talking about in the world. Then we come to Africa, then we come to Kenya, and then we go specifically to US. Just that funnel, broad, then we narrow it down up to the specific area where you're working, where you'll be working. This one I don't want to give the limit of the words you can write because it all depends on you, but don't forget, don't let the background of the study carry the things that should go to literature review. So just show the global world what it's talking about, what the region is talking about, or the continent of Africa is talking about, then narrow it to Kenya, narrow it to your school. That way. Then objectives, we've talked about the objectives, let them be specific, bring them out, let them come out well, because they're the ones that will inform the rest of what you're doing. Research questions, we've said we don't want a hypothesis in this one of ours. We are writing research questions, and we were told very clearly your objectives. Na usiwe na zaidi ya objective 4. You can have 3, 4, or less. The objectives are the ones that give you the research question. You frame them into questions. Literature review, check. Read, give us something. Because it is from the literature review, we are able to start seeing this has been done by so-and-so, this is what they said. This research was done by so-and-so about parental engagement, this is what they said. This was done by so-and-so, this is what they said. This way we are able even to see the gap. I want to hear your voice there. After you talk about so-and-so talked about this and say this, then now where? Quote, APA. Quote what other people have said. Methodology, this is just a repeat of what we had discussed. What method are you going to use? This method, in this part of methodology, you see the design, you see the methods for data collection and analysis. We will see the scope, where your work is, what is it that you require, who are the people you're going to be talking to, what is your sample, ni wagapi, etc. And after all this, after this, we'll get, we will want to see your findings explained very well. And we also want to see your conclusions and recommendations for further reading. Let me stop sharing this and I share something else very small. Where is that something small that I want to share? No, that one, no, that one. This is the format we will be using. I'll send this format to you. This is the format we'll be using. I'm not able to extend it. See whether I'm able to zoom. I hope I'm not zooming it out. This is what I was talking about. Topic of the study. Your name, your research title. Author, your name. Abstract, summarize the study's purpose, methods, key findings, etc. into 150 to 250 words. 250. Introduction. This is what you do in the introduction. Background of the study, statement of the problem, objectives, and research questions. Literature review, theoretical framework, conceptual framework, empirical studies. What are the studies you've studied? And you're saying for these studies, the key findings from recent studies, these studies must be published within the last 5 years. The last 5 years. Methodology. This is where you bring the research design. What design are you going to use? Is it descriptive? Is it experimental? Target population and sample size. Describe your population, the sampling procedure, and the size. Research instrument. What are you going to use? Are you going to use questionnaire, interview guide, etc.? Data collection procedures. Explain. Data processing and analysis. Describe what you're going to do. Research findings and discussions. Bring it out here. What is it that you find for every objective? What is the answer that you got? For every objective, when you did the research, what are the results? Then we come to chapter 5, summary of conclusions and recommendations. Summary of the findings per objective in chapter 5, summary of the findings per objective, just a summary. Conclusions. You conclude the key findings, recommendations, offer suggestions based on findings, and areas of further research proposed. Then from there, give us references, and we said should be not more than 5 years old. So from 2020 to 2025. 2019 will be allowed. We can allow 2019 to 2025, and you use APA 7th edition or required style. Our required style is APA 7th edition. Hii nitaiweka kwa LMS, and also I will send it, I think, on the wall so that we can start early. This is just a description of what I was doing from the beginning. So, colleagues, what am I saying? Tuanze na hii research. Kile hakifanyiki ni kile ambacho hakijaanza. So we are saying we start, we walk the journey together, we see how we will be able to move, on. Tuanze pole pole, start thinking about the topic. Guys, you have my number. Where ukiwa stuck, just send me a message. I am stuck. So start writing the research. If you want to share your topic, you can share it with me. Which email do I use? I'll put it on the wall. I'll put the email on the wall. I'll see the ile haijaja sana. I see which one is the best. Nitaweka kwa wall, where if you feel you want to share the topic with me, you can share the topic as you continue writing. So that by the time you are placing it, you are putting it in the LMS, it is tumemaliza kazi. And just as I've said, please take your time with it. Someone is saying amesahau namba yangu, ungeingia tu hapo kwa wall. Imagine ungeipata 0722 naiandika kwa chat 675339. ICT, please give us the kama imewekwa, sitaki kuanza kupiga doma na tayari iko. Registration, please, ICT. So that's my number. Feel free to use it. Feel free to send a message, especially sending messages. I'm very good at answering messages. Many a times I won't pick calls because if I'm in a meeting, I am in a training, it becomes impossible. Lakini messages, nobody sits down to answer messages. So I know I will get a chance to be able to answer all the messages. And I'll also give you an email address where you can, if you feel you want to share the question with me, you can share the question with me. If you feel you're not moving well, you'll also tell me where you are. We are walking this journey together. So we are getting, the LMS is Learning Management System. It is the virtual campus, Learning Management System, the virtual campus, the one that we use, where you are doing your assignment. Number 708-825, where we are doing our assignments, pale tunasoma, that is our LMS. Edna, before I say bye, tell me something.
Thank you so much, Daktari. You've simplified the whole process.
Thank you.
We're just praying for insight so that we are able to do some quality work. Last time I had an issue with the registration, registering my attendance.
Yes.
I clicked on the link.
Yeah.
But it was not editable. You know, the way you edit to add the details that you're supposed to fill in.
Yes.
I wasn't able to. So I don't know what happened. I tried to raise it on the wall, but I didn't get any help.
Hata mimi sikuiona, hiyo ilinihepa. ICT, who is in? Who is in ICT to answer us that question? Nani ako ndani? You know, today sikuona niko na nani. Who am I with?
Aquila.
Aquila, how are you? Answer that question. Sikujua ni wewe, ningekuwa nimekuita zamani ujibu maswali mengine hapa. Haya, Aquila.
It's okay, we have a recording.
Yes, she's saying
we
that
have a recording for the Zoom.
Okay, that is a recording. She's also saying about registration. She was not able to register. That is what you're talking about, Edna?
Yes,
Yeah, there's an attendance for Zoom.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Thank you. Hiyo tumemaliza. Tutaangalia, Edna, if you get another issue, uiweke kwa wall. Tusipoiona sasa tutaongea tukipatana kwa class. So colleagues, I am giving you 2 weeks for now. And then I want to give you a break kidogo. I want to wait a midterm. So nataka kuweka midterm. After 2 weeks, I will communicate on the way forward and the next unit that we are going to be able to work with. Now, Betty is saying she's not also able to register. Let me try to register.
Daktari.
Yes.
Just a quick one, eh?
Yes.
Now that you have set us off to begin the research, then an document from the institution that will give us the authority to do the same, or now that we have just discussed it here, it remains as is.
If you get a hindrance from the school and you're not able to do your research in the school, please let me know. Just let me know. Let's leave it as personal as possible. Just let me know what you require. When it reaches that level, let me know what you require.
Okay.
Sawa, thank you. So colleagues, thank you so much. Let's take this break. Let's take this midterm. We will still meet. We will talk more, and we will work. We still continue to work this journey together. You also do not know how much you teach me in the process. I learn more than you do. So thank you so much. Tulianza na maombi kutoka kwa Bimwendia. Sasa ningetaka mtu mwingine tofauti na ambaye si ajenda yangu. Shadrack.
Yes, daktari.
Pia kwa maombi.
Nafunga kwa maombi. But I'm also amazed that now I'm starting to work out personally.
Okay. Sawa.
Yeah. Okay, tumalizia kwa maombi. Father, thank you, Lord, for this session that, Lord, you have given us. It has been an interactive session. Thank you, Lord, for what you have learned. As well, about, Lord, to break even, to start our researches, oh God, I pray that, Lord, you're going to lead us, show us the way, and even our Daktari, as she's also preparing also to engage us in the next sessions to come. Lord, may you guide her, protect the whole fraternity as Kemi and all of us as students as we are embarking on this journey of guidance and counseling. For in Jesus' name I do pray and believe. Amen.
Amen. And thank you so much, colleagues. Enjoy the midterm for those who are already in midterm, and enjoy your work and take charge. Just do what you're able to do. And where you're not able to do anything, just talk. Don't leave it at that. Na malipo tusisahau. Tukasema mnanifanya nikae kama nina offer free course. Tafadhali tulipe. Thank you so much and good night.